Police Commission.
July 16, 2025 meeting of the Honolulu Police Commission to order. It is now 2 p.m. Today's meeting is being held at the Honolulu Police Department Aloha Station in the Community Affairs Division Conference Room. Although remote oral testimony is being permitted, this is a regular meeting and not a remote meeting by interactive conference technology under HRS Section 92-347. Therefore, the meeting will continue notwithstanding loss of audiovisual communication with remote testifiers or loss of the public broadcast of the meeting. In addition, if anyone in the public has questions about board taxes, to the extent that there are those available, or any questions about auxiliary aid services or other accommodations due to a disability or a language other than English, please refer to the instructions listed at the end of our regular meeting agenda. Present with me today are Commissioners Foster, Botticelli, Char, Chin, and Commissioner Suki is on her way. Also in attendance are HPC staff members Yuen, Chan, and Sakihara, and Deputy Corporation Counsel Tang and Chi. Interim Chief Vanek, who do you have with you today?
Thank you. With me, I have Acting Deputy Chief Sakiyam and Acting Deputy Chief Nishibu.
Thank you so much. All right, gang, the front side of our agenda is pretty busy. Just a reminder to everyone that's here to testify, thank you so much for being here and being engaged with our community. So we do have a few rules so that we can stay on track. And that, I'm going to ask you folks to please summarize. So, written testimony. We have written testimony from Shelby, Pikachu, Billionaire, 6 written testimonies. Thank you,
sir.
And just a reminder for anybody that wants copies of the written testimonies, they are available on our website. And our website is honolulu.gov/HTC. We also have written testimony from Travis Bachman. Here, sir. Hi there. Robert Santillan. From Jahan Byrne. And from Melissa Yu. And then in person, we do have Mr. Pikachu. We do have Alex Garcia, Travis Bachman, Joe ʻāina, and keiki. And then we also have Carl Dix, and Mr. Santillan is going to testify in person as well. And by phone, we do have Austin and Kale Salcido. So we took care of the written testimony. Let's go to the in-person testimony. And the first that we have is Mr. Shelby. Yes.
I knew it.
Thank you very much. You guys got my testimonies. I'm going to combine my 6 testimonies. Let's go with the Epstein files. I found it on the DOJ AG website or using the AI grok, and I found it. When you try to Google Epstein files, it's going to give you a whole bunch of balderdash. So you can find it when I sent you guys the links on AG Pan Bondi site. You click on the bottom. You're going to see the flight logs, the Epstein Black Book they found in 1997, the evidence list, which makes you disgusting when you read it. You're going to see butt plugs, dildos, handcuffs, vibrators, condoms, and sickening stuff, all in the evidence of that stuff. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because Sean P. Diddy Combs is on there. I got a call from the commissioner, surprised by the intel, because if I can find it, and Cash Patel's line, the AG's line, Donald Trump's on the list, POTUS is compromised all the way to the top. So if I got complaints, you know about human trafficking, drug smuggling on Big Island is really bad. That's the international hub for all this kukai that's coming down. I did my best to put in solutions to implement practical solutions into your HPD strategic plan. We've got a brand new chief, Roddy Vanek, to help work with us. We're not trying to cause more hop, but we're going to hold them accountable. My solutions for you guys, making this IA task force, all this stuff I put in paperwork, it's not going to be up to me, it's going to be up to you guys. Of course, I love to volunteer and help, but we're going after serious organized criminals that are going all the way to the top. Now, how do I know this? Because the chief of Maui is dirty. John Pelletier is on the same dossier with Sean P. Diddy Combs. He's known as AKA the Cleaner in Las Vegas. And that's what they do, is to find the liquid cocaine in the drugs and the GHB drugs in the baby oil. He finds the houses that are to not only rape them and put them away, but someone's got to clean up all the baby oil, the doo-doo, and the blood. That's not normal. And if Jeffrey Epstein's got all these secret places, New York, New Mexico, blah, 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 I can tie it into Paul J. Silla, who runs the ayahuasca cult with Oprah, who's on Big Island. He got nagged a couple months ago, and he got let out in 6 hours. He's tied into Mayor Mitch Roth. I'm not sure how we're going to hold accountability to everybody, but I believe in you guys for what happened to Benjamin Moskowitz on the Big Island. You're seeing all the news and the effects of what's going down. We can't work with corruption, meaning if this is a whole board of cornucopia food, right? And some people just want to cherry pick the top. Let me get this whipped cream, let me get this orange. No, if this is rotten, your grapes and everything, you can't work it. You got to clean the whole house and start fresh. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
That was 2 minutes, 24 seconds.
All right, next up is Mr. Bachman.
Yes, sir.
Aloha, everybody. I'm Travis Bachman. I live in Honolulu. Specifically, I want to talk about Punananiho or Sherwood Forest. There's a man there named Jakey Boy. That's his street name. Don't know his last name. Many complaints have been made about him. The park keepers made complaints about him. He's had letters written to the police commissioner, calls to the police commissioner, or a feeling has been advised about him. He has, I hope I can be frank about this, he's raped many women in the park. Recently he raped a 15-year-old woman. The police came and made a report about that. He's constantly seen walking around with impunity. Cops will not do anything about him. I don't know what's going on. He kills dogs in the park. I know of 2 dogs. One he bludgeoned him to death. The other day he stabbed one to death. He goes around with impunity. The dog, the other day I know a keiki, 15-year-old boy. I'm not going to say his name, but I watched him grow up. I went and talked to the boy. Acting awful weird. My inner thoughts told me something was wrong. Talked to the boy's mother. Turns out Jakey Boy came up to the boy in the middle of the night when they were camping on the beach. Told him he's going to fuck him in the ass. I know he's doing this stuff. I went up to an uncle on the beach and told him that Jakey Boy made this threat against the kid. The uncle said, oh no. And I said, and you know he's raping women. And he said, yeah, he told me all these new homeless wahine movement. And you know, I cleared out Honolulu Beach Park. So all those homeless had to move over to our side. Punananiho. Jakey Boy quote said, I'm going to rape all the new wahine I want. And he has been. He beat my friend Lily so bad, she had to move out of Punananiho into town. She's homeless, put her in a body cast. I went to the cops. All they say, no offense, I'm looking at the police because there's a few cops in Honolulu. When I approach them, they give me looks. And they say, oh, you're a haole. You need to mind your own business, stay in your lane. And this boy, Jakey Boy, walks around. I don't know if he's tied to something. There's sex trafficking going on in these woods. This is something I can deal with. Something I can affect. That's why I'm coming to you guys. I don't want to be here. Okay, but I've been watching it go on for like 4 years now. And everybody knows this boy. Everybody knows this guy. But no, he's been abused. His parents, everybody knows his family. But you know what? The fact that he gets away with it because he was abused, he's spreading it to other people. And he goes around just like, there's something going on, there's something sick. And it's been looking for too long. And now that I know he walks through a keiki, I know. He said, I'm going to fuck you in the ass. And the mom's not going to go to the police because she's a former convict. And maybe she does ice once in a while, okay? And she lives in a homestead and she doesn't want to lose her benefits. Okay? So, please, somebody help us.
Mr. Bachman, so it's not on our agenda, so we can't have dialogue back and forth. I'll make a statement.
Yes.
So HPD, of course, is in the room.
Yes.
They have heard your statement.
Yes.
And I will follow up with them.
Please. Because this is gone on long enough. Mahalo. Okay.
All right, Mr. Santillan. I don't know if I pronounced your name correctly or not.
Santillan.
Okay.
I'm a retired veteran, 21 years active service, right? And everybody says my name wrong. Anyways, I'm an active security guard. I work with ʻāina, all right? 1425 on Aloha Street, right? We got a big problem over there. I've been physically attacked the last 2 weeks, right? I'm unarmed. And I have neighbors in my neighborhood, right? On Aloha Street. They're Samoans, Polynesians, they're all security guards. And they're fed up. Because when we call HVD on duty, unarmed, That's 20 minutes of our time that we have to defend ourselves or the community. And so what I'm trying to advocate for is, we got the CPA, Citizen Police Academy, right? We got the NSW. I want to set that up in District 5 and District 1. So, like to get in contact, not me contacting them because it hasn't worked. Contact me. My phone is readily available. I'll take your text, but I want to set this up because the community in Aloha is fed up. Absolutely fed up. They saw what I have to go through every day, and I tell them, you tell me to call 911, I'm going to be waiting 20 minutes. Why don't you, the community, call 911? So, HPD, I know you're 461 officers short. I want to be an HPD officer. I'm 56 years old. I'm 70% disabled. I applied, but you know what? I can't do it. So I want to set up with HPD in District 5 and District 1 that they make their little rounds, come into the Aloha Shopping Center, make a round, say hi, and show a presence. Because right now, these homeless, I got to go to work tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I know I'm going to be attacked. I'm marked. I can't even wear my uniform to take the #1 bus from where I live to go to work. I cannot. At 11 o'clock at night, I got to wait for the bus. And I cannot be in uniform. I have to disguise myself all the time. Stop that. It's not HPD's fault. HPD and I need to work together in those two communities. Thank you for your time.
Mr. Centillion, if you don't mind, can you give our EO
We reach out.
the contact information?
He's got it all.
Pass
He's
that
got it
on
all.
to
Thank you, James, for calling me today. Very appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job, brother. Whoa.
Next is Mr. Garcia.
These folks were here, they're headed, but they were waiting outside.
Okay.
Joseph
Mr. Acosta?
Yes.
They stole his car, stole the money, stole a lot of stuff, and beat up his wife.
So there's two things that I would like to address today. The first, as I was reviewing your agenda for today, I noticed that there were several items regarding excessive use of force by police officers. And you know that is something near and dear to my heart. We had a previous discussion with you folks. And I'm pretty sure our case will be coming before you sometime in the near future. So this what I'm noticing, this seems to be a growing trend within the police force. Their mission statement says to build trust in the community. But how are they going to build trust when it is being constantly torn down by the truant misbehavior of members within the group? This is not a good situation. It needs to be addressed immediately, or this type of criminal behavior will continue. Additionally, as of today, actually 68 days later, we finally got a portion of the police report, and we finally got a portion of the body worn cameras. 68 days later. We have trial coming up in 3 weeks. Think about that for a minute. It's taking us that long just to get information from the record department. Maybe you've heard the phrase, 1,000 attaboys can be ruined by one aw shit. Well, we are experiencing a whole bunch of aw shit. Well, and again, that's where we are. Again, the second, of course, is regarding human and child trafficking in Hawaii. I'm sure you're aware of the immensity of that issue, and this is something that has been our mission for several years now. That also is a growing concern for Hawaii and for its citizens. While I don't expect the Commission to solve the problem, there are things that can be done here that would raise awareness levels throughout the program, through the Coordinating Commission. With those two issues in mind, and knowing that you are in the process of finding a new police chief, I would strongly encourage you to ask the potential chief what would be their plan to resolve those issues. Okay? Specific plans would be greatly appreciated, and not just for pie in the sky. This is something we think, we believe, we want to trust that the powers in the women's sky are going to solve. Okay? This is some really specific plan to how we're going to address these issues, and I think it would be appropriate to have any potential chief be able to answer those questions. How are we going to address these issues? Right? Other than that, I just want to thank you for your time, and I appreciate everything you guys are doing. Truly, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Cookies turn. Here she goes.
So can I approach all of you guys? Like Drew said, he put it out for a couple of years. Part of the thing that the ministry gets is a lot of info because people talk. And so we're not an activist movement. We're literally a ministry to help end child trafficking, human trafficking, and boy. I know many of you guys don't know me because I'm young. I was back home 7 years ago. I ran for governor against Joshua in 2022 as a nonpartisan candidate. How many of you remember Chief Nakamura? Raise your hand. How many of you got a medal of valor for rescuing kids at Benton? This is my medal of valor. Given to me on July 31st, 1997, with my name on it. This mission has created a lot of people to target us. Because the people involved, like Shelby said, are really at the top. And I want to read something to you guys that resurfaced. Because what you're dealing with is pedophiles running your government and paying you the money to operate here. This is the gay manifesto. This is not my words. This is written in 1987 by Michael Swift, gay revolutionary, gay painter from the Congress worker of the United States Congress, first printed in Gay Community News, February 15, 2021, 1987. We shall sodomize your sons, emblems of your feeble masculinity, of your shallow dreams and vulgar lies. We shall seduce them in your schools, in your dormitories. Sorry, people are calling me. In your gymnasiums, in your locker rooms, in your sports arenas, in your seminaries, and in your youth groups. And it goes on to how they're going to trigger women into LGBTQism. If you guys want this, you can contact me, 503-475-4486. That is my direct line. My email is kittypeteramazing@gmail.com. I am not somebody who's going to stand with pedophiles. It's either you're for the pedophiles or you're for the children in the future. It's very black and white. I know where I stand.
Thank you for your testimony. Mr. Garcia.
That's only crying to you guys. That's it. Going into session.
Okay, thank you again for your time. And let's go to the services briefly coming in. The community is not in the agenda. Well, it's also I guess legal reasons, and I respect that. I don't agree with you, but I respect it. I don't agree because I'll tell you what. I spent 15 years as a major crime detective. I've probably prosecuted, conferred, and charged close to 3,000 plus cases. And anytime somebody came before me in an interview and asked for an attorney, a red flag went up. So I did a more thorough investigation to find out enough information to make a conviction. And by the commission remaining silent, you're bringing up a red flag. I don't think you guys did anything wrong. I think you're victims. The victims can also become co-conspirators, and it's unfortunate to be that victim. The department is really not looking good right now because of the mayor and because of Chief Wielding. Joe is a friend of mine. I've known him for many years, and I respect the mayor. But they've made this into a real circus. I had a guy call me just yesterday, say about 15 years in the department. I think I might resign and ask for 10 years so I can make up 25.
And that's how ridiculous the situation is. It's also so bad that, South of Yale, retired police lieutenant, the Honolulu 23 years. But right now, I'm thinking maybe if I lose 10 or 15 pounds, I will identify as a lifeguard or a firefighter. It's so bad it is. It's embarrassing. I mean, it's just, there's really nothing for morale, nothing for retention, and nothing for recruiting. This is a real nightmare. I hope it'll pass and it'll work. One more thing, and I'll be out of it, is I sent out a survey last week, and I haven't got it completed yet. I'm waiting for more results. I did like to try it. Asking officers and retirees with 20 years plus service to identify, and I listed our chiefs from Keala all the way to Joe Logan, to identify in your 20 to 32 years, who would you identify as two leaders and why? I received so many responses right now, and they're pretty much all on the same page, identifying the same people and the same reasons. And the reason I'm doing this is I want to bring this to you for your consideration when you pick a chief. And I brought this to the commission in the last 3 chiefs. All these guys are good managers. They get degrees, they have experience, they meet the minimum requirements. But we need a leader. We don't need a manager. We have acting deputy chiefs, we have acting majors, acting assistant chiefs. They can manage themselves, but we need a leader to get them to do the job. And no disrespect to Ratty, but hold his feet to the fire, and he'll motivate these guys to do their job. And I'll bring the survey at the next meeting.
By example, morale. Who has a leadership degree? I do.
Mr. Carl Dix.
Carl. He's great.
Again, when you found that, in 2020, I've been in Hawaii 32 years. I was trained in political gatherings, and political this and political this, and I was a city councilman, a fireman, a PMT, and in the mainland. And I was planning on leaving Hawaii, and they hit me, wait. Why don't you get back to Hawaii with you have share? I started Clean House Hawaii, and I have an agenda, and there's a lot of active groups of people. We're not even an official organization. We are the people, and there's a whole bunch of us. And I take blame for what's going on, because if I don't take that blame, and if I don't take my responsibility, you guys don't have a chance of fixing those streets. If it doesn't start with we the people, nobody has a chance. So we need to take responsibility on the streets for what we are responsible for in our own house, in our own community, and get with these departments, support them, and if there's corruption, we need to get rid of it. We all need to start working together. And since 2020, this has been an issue. I started with the election commission, and it's proven what a horrible situation that is. And we don't have elections in Hawaii, which is this thing that separates us from third world countries. Our elections here in Hawaii are horrible, horrendous, corrupt to the core. And if we don't have elections, we need enforcement. It's weak. And the courts. And I've been in the courts, I filed 30 cases. I've been involved in probably 50 now since 2020. I have a 12th grade education. And I never thought I'd say this, but I'm petitioning the Hawaii Supreme Court. I'm going to go take the bar exam, and I'm going to become part of the Warriors to fix it. I'm going to take the bar, and I'm going to pass it. I've learned so much about Hawaii election law and the laws of the state of Hawaii and the corruption in the courts. The courts here in Hawaii are nothing but a cash flow system for the ball. I understand the frustration of the SPD. They're writing all these tickets and doing their job as best they can, and nothing changes. It gets worse and worse and worse. I understand why they are frustrated. I understand the frustration of everybody. But we all need to pull together and work on this, and it starts with everybody in your own house, your own community, your own street. Do what you can. I yield.
Thank you, sir.
Salcedos.
Salcitos, Austin and Calais. Thank you for making the trip. I appreciate it.
You know what, it was.
I have an appointment, but they called me and said, "Get go back," so I'm here. First of all, Joe Rogan is not here. I want to thank him for his services, but I also want to reach out to commissioners, somehow be considered putting him back, because 96792 fell to the cracks a long time. When I came here when Effie's speech in Tokyo, he answered the call for our community. And he had turned it on and discouraged crime, shooting. These days we have kids in our school with those guns. They're still killings of 96792. I would like to see more police officers present in 96792. Please don't forget that orphan child. We feel like an orphan child in 96792 because we're not timing yet. We have people complaining about not sure too much cops, cleaning too much cops, Waikiki too much cops. Where's the aloha? Bring your police officers to our side to help our side too. I feel for our police officers. I come here, I fight for them, because you know what? They do the tickets, they do the citation, but it's your prosecution office going to allow the aiding and abetting of repeated offenders. It's not going to help you. So how are you guys going to give them the truth when they bring it back? You would have people that complain about tickets and everything, safety check. Hey, I got a ticket for a safety check. I will clear because I'm so busy fighting at the Capitol and fighting at the City Hall for our share of rights in the 96792. But I want them who will clear up everything. But do not shoot what we have in our district, our offices. Do not take away, add more. Keep Landon, I thank you for standing up, but I'm asking you, you need to be heard. That orphan child, that's in 96792 needs help. We get unethical people on our beaches, drugs in our bathroom, sex trafficking. When is it not enough? Leave us like we're dining here in Kappa Apu. We're the lowest income people. But let me tell you, we come with hammers. I'm not going away. Remember, the orphan child.
Abandoned child.
This was unexpected, it was scheduled, everything just got pushed back. But again, very normal like I said, Chief Joe, we can come with a solution. That's what we're going to try to achieve. Last year we had came to the commissioners, and at the same time, Chief Joe Logan receives a call from Brigadier General Stephen Logan to give him assistance, provide assistance. Commissioner Shin stated utilizes all your available resources in your behalf. And guess what? He did. And guess what? The reduction of crime did reduce for a period of time. But when they removed those state DLNR officers and sheriffs in our area, we're still doing all type of traffic violations and all that, which we're controlling. When they had reduced it because of complaints of speedings and all that. But guess what? Now we have more crimes that's happening. Chief Roddy, please reach out and utilize your resources. We have state law enforcement now. As of July 1st,
Mike Lambert.
State law enforcement. Not only they do agriculture, they'll be assisting as well as the fire marshal as well too. But our problem is, this is an example, Makaha Valley. The intersection, Makaha Valley Road, Barrington Highway. I took 3 different addresses there. A total from 2023 to 2024. A total of 652 911 calls made for HPE in 1 year period of time. 7-Eleven has the highest 911 calls made to the Makaha 7-Eleven in all the West Coast 7-Elevens combined together as a business. We have, the reason I'm coming to you on this is, there's not a city operation that's occurring in our area. We identified state, from the Department of Health, having a alcohol drug abuse treatment center there at the premise property. And at the same time, they're selling alcohol on the same premises. How is that? State operations do not come to the neighborhood board for impact study. But the city did create, in 2023, Bill 64 regarding this thing. But the only problem with clause, they're not challenging the state of their operations in the area. Group living housing, drug treatment areas. They don't come to the city for permits. They operate alone. That's the flaws that we have. Group living is all around in our area, especially in this Kernets and Makaha Valley Road area.
Right.
It's group living operated by the state. So the city has to challenge what's going on in our area to attract 652 calls. Please, this is facts. I have the documentation, measurements on this. Reach out to me, any of you. I didn't bring it to me because this was decided upon. I'm free to come in. But please reach out and provide you that to reduce the amount of bad behaviors in our area. Makaha Valley Road, we have RISE, Governor's Emergency Proclamation. We're challenging that right now under City Bill 64. Anything that's within 1,000 feet of another living facility is not permitted. But we utilize the Governor's Emergency Proclamation. Again, it's a state. So we have to challenge the state of what they're doing in our community that's impacting our HPE because of bad behaviors. But the solution is, you have to challenge it. That's a solution. State their operation because of Bill 64 and all these type of group living housing. But coordinate with our state law enforcement, other resources, whatever it may be, Chief Bennett, please utilize it. It works. It worked for Chief Logan to help us, the community. Because Mayor Blandy already said what you and the community will do. Well, we reached out to Chief Logan. He came with a remedy. But because of complaints, it reduced, crime came up. His law enforcement came down because of complaints, crimes came up, risen. So now, let's do the opposite now. Have our high enforcement in our area and reduce our crime again. That's a solution. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
So I have my list of those that had signed up to testify. Is there anybody here that we missed? I know you came in. Did you want to testify? Come on up. I know you were here last time. What was your name again, Brian Pike? All right. Go ahead, Mr. Pike.
My name is Brian Pike. I'm a survivor of human trafficking. I was also tortured, and the ACLU smart lawyers identified me as one of these people when we went to present the reimagined public safety budget to the governor's office. So I was on the news then. I know some people were seeing me on the news. I guess from here and that, people would come up, oh, we saw you. It's a big island. My therapist is a licensed counselor in the state of Hawaii. So I've been homeless for like a year and a half here in Hawaii. Chronically homeless, 10 or 15 years in my adult life. I just completed the psyche eval with the state doctor on July 8th. And I'm waiting for a DVR to place me in some sort of job placement so that I can afford living. You know, I'm just basically looking for a job and pay taxes. I'm not trying to cheat anyone. I have a background in cybersecurity and IT. I just got off the phone with my lawyer this morning in Washington, D.C. with the National Security Agency legal team, and he advised me not to stop medical cannabis at this time, that I should wait because I'm already stabilized. And my doctor, Benjamin Anderson, you know, I'm the state cannabis registry. And the problem is I've been getting discriminated against so much. I have multiple complaints. I just came from HCRC and did another intake over there. They filed 2 charges of discrimination against Home Depot and against co-working and the like. All these, you know, and I'm sitting here. It's a year and a half later. Like I showed up. I paid taxes. I did my job. I have these skills. You know, I came to fly open air. At least if there was a good job, they could create a job for me. You know, if it's somewhere, private, whether it's state, city, county, public, private sector, I don't care. I just want to get a job, pay bills, pay my taxes. And I'm in a situation now where I'm homeless. I get dragged when I caught police brutality, you know, misunderstandings with the police. I did volunteer for the community policing team, and I know over my time, but I just wanted to offer my services, you know, as a professional. I was a member of the Border Guard in IDF, and I still have a contract I could show you right now on my phone, you know, with them. So I do have experience, and you know, I'm a professional. So I just want to offer that. Thanks for.
Mr. White, thank you for your time. All right, going back to the agenda, I forgot to ascertain, and I'm sorry. How are you? Ms. Lorraine Wells? Okay, did you want to come up and testify?
I'm black, my life doesn't matter. When I came back to the single and killed and killed, in 1988, we come from LA. So after we were killed in the USA. And then this week, I could tell what happened to me. Is this American here? You crazy man who think they're beating him up and trying to kill him and you have sex with him? It's all because I don't sex with him. That's a fucking cop. His girlfriend doesn't know how to do it. She's Japanese. Really brilliant and no security. We got a new ownership now. And I thought we could go out and get stuff. So I got a dog recently that I decided to give him back to the shelter. I don't feel safe about that. Please, you guys got to put it out the house. So that's it around here, and I need help. And I'm not being able to get any help. And if you come after me, because you prosecuted me at one time, said that I had a tooth or something. That's for anything on me. I know you hit that judge. I had hit that just conflict with the public is good, about the field is good. So I'm tired of it. I'm 77 years old. I think I could suck like this on crazy, some kind of deal. And you're like, I see you after the king. How can you face bother me? All these crazy men in my day. I am not for you, I am not for slave, I am for servitude. And you can never see a black woman. So I tell people, oh, that's fine. What do you see by it? You don't get a black woman. So that's all. That's all I'm here.
Oh, I'm sorry that you have to go through that. Jim, if you don't mind, can you get in touch with Ms. Wells and just make sure that she knows the process to file a complaint if that's what she wants.
I already have, but it's denied, so now I want to file
An appeal.
Yeah, against them, against only.
Just to make sure that she knows the process. Thank you. All right. Is there anyone else that I may have missed? Okay. So anyway, I forgot to ascertain quorum. So, do we have quorum? Okay, thank you very much. Moving on in the agenda, item number 14.
over some time frame.
Okay.
I'll let you know some of the things we're tracking. And also over some other things that we'll go over and other things that we've been so just to let you know sure. And then we'll adjust it.
Okay.
So one of the cases that came out when I think it's pretty interesting was there was an arson first case that happened at a park on July 3rd. About 8:30 in the morning, there was a witness. It was at Sheridan Park. If you guys remember, a witness observed smoke to be coming from that park playground area. The smoke quickly became fully engulfed, damaging the entire playground area. HFD quickly responded to extinguish the fire. HFD related that the fire appeared to be suspicious. They concluded that it was intentionally set. Parks and Recreation came down and they estimated the damage to be $35,000. That's what an arson person also calculated was intentionally set. For our investigation and good piecework, we were actually able to determine who it was. And our District 1 officers arrested the person right smack dab in front of our station. So we were able to arrest the person responsible for that. We were in charge of the defense, so it was really piecework officer's part. I think you remember also over the holiday weekend, there was a number of firearm offenses in District 8 and other beach area. Chief Logan did a press conference to update the review on all of the different cases, number of arrests involving those cases. I think that was excellent work, not only for our officers involved, being that there was also firework. The new law that just had gone into effect. So besides working all of the firework cases and issuing citations, we also provided statistics to the media. We were timely in the information that we provided to the media regarding all of the different firearm offenses. We also followed up very timely with the information that we provided on social media. So I think overall, we did pretty well in continuing to make progress. I can provide you with details regarding those, but I think a lot of the different cases, for example, the one where at Miami Beach Park where the male was shot, we were in that one. The one where the males were shooting at the beach park into the ocean, we didn't arrest in that one. The one where the male was in his vehicle and shot his girlfriend at the beach, and we didn't arrest in that one. So all of these cases involving firearms, despite them being firearm cases and potentially putting our officers in harm's way, officers went in very bravely, despite the potential personal harm to themselves, and they arrested us in those cases.
Can I just interrupt you? Just a real quick, that's my train of thought. So one of the observations that I had, and I know a couple of the other commissioners had expressed to me as well, is now that you have a beef communication section, that you have a strategic person that's leading that office, it seems that what I'm hearing from the public as well is that they're very appreciative of the timely information. Information is on point, and I think it's a good trend moving forward. There's an expectation from the public that they want homes now, they want things now, and they want to be informed. And I think that you folks are clearly headed in the right direction as far as that goes. The other thing was, we did see a number of different firearm related cases. So when you make an arrest, and if you do get a hold of the firearm, you may not have the stats in front of you. I'm just curious though, that what would happen to those that maybe own the firearm, but it's not the person that had done the crime, it's not the person that had owned the firearm. Responsibility would lie where? I'm just curious because how are all of these guns getting around? Are they stolen? Are they ghost guns? Are they?
So typically there's only a number of different ways that firearms can be used in crime. Very rarely do we see the firearm that means either one, someone purchases the gun and gives it to someone else to use. That doesn't have to be legally. Usually what happens is someone purchases the gun and it's stolen. Another way is that now especially those things, they're purchasing the parts and they're putting them together, or they're actually even making the guns, or they're purchasing them possibly on like the black market. Those are other ways that you don't see them too frequently being purchased legally and being used. So a lot of times when they're being used by people who are prohibited from owning firearms, or they're getting them somehow nefarious. So the individuals who were arresting, they are also a lot of times being charged with firearm offenses. And so the person who owns the guns, when they are legally registered, they're not culpable or legal liable for those guns that are used when they're registered. A lot of times also these guns aren't registered. Okay. Any other questions regarding those? Any other questions on that topic?
Ghost guns.
There was another case also, I think, if you remember, in the Pearl City area. It was in front of
Club
that
Ash.
club. I think it was on the news.
Club Ash.
Car out of Hot Ash.
Hot Ash, yeah.
There was a person, they got into a verbal argument. He was sitting in his vehicle. He drove out of the parking lot and he tried to hit someone with his car. Right? And the guy jumped onto the car. So that one, the individual was arrested for issue of attempted murder, which I think he did. So that one, the male was arrested. Actually, our two officers were able to locate and arrest that man when they did a show up, and then that male was arrested. So that was another good arrest. Then the final criminal case that I wanted to highlight was the talk that we had recently on the barricade situation in Kuleana. So that one, there was on July 12th, so several days ago, there was multiple 911 calls for a report of a male who shot a gun in the area of the Wailua Coast Guard Station, actually. And then through investigation, it was found that the male resided in one of the units, the low-rise units there. Multiple attempts were made for him to exit the unit with no response. Our specialized services division stopped, was notified, and they responded along with our plainclothes crime reduction units to secure the perimeter. He eventually surrendered, was placed under arrest for 2 counts of terroristic threatening and reckless endangerment for firing the weapon. They also did while they were doing a search of him, this person, they found drugs, which so he was arrested for a drug offense. When they notified our criminal investigation division, they obtained a search warrant, which they executed on his residence, and then found a lot more things, which prompted them to get DEA involved, and they're actually concurring with DEA sitting on federal. There were guns and drugs involved. So yeah, this is a very good case for our officers. They've been very good case for them. The case is still under investigation, so I'm not sure. A lot of stuff.
Yeah, just the
Right, so definitely partnerships. So one of the other things I wanted to highlight was we recently had a gun buyback, which people Exactly, in Ottawa, which we did a partnership and a number of 270 guns were turned in. The partnership occurred where CLE found law enforcement actually provided gift cards to be used to provide turned in guns. But that's just a small part, you know. It is a department, and I'll go over that when we do the priorities. We could be doing a lot more. And one of the priorities is we've seen that there's a nexus between violent crime, even property crime, and guns. We have the opportunity to work with our federal partners and state partners to come up with there's tools out there like this thing called NIDIM, where you can track guns and the use of it, like using a database and intelligence-led piecing to track how these guns are being used, where they're coming from, if they're being made, who they're connected to. So there are tools out there that we could be using in order to figure out what's happening. I think too, working with the judiciary even afterwards and the prosecutor's office to come up with real consequences, making sure that when these people get arrested, that it's not just a slap on the wrist, that there's a real deterrent so that people who are considering using guns think twice. Okay, you know what, if I'm arrested or if I even consider using this firearm in an offense, I could really be doing serious time. I think there needs to be that type of deterrent in order for it to be a real serious crime. Not that it isn't now, but it almost seems like people, they just don't care. Either they're going to get away with it, or we need to be doing that.
Even in one of those cases, in Mark, that there were so many people had multiple offenses.
Oh, yeah.
So that must be frustrating.
It is. I mean, I think for an officer, there's nothing more frustrating than when you run someone for a rap check and the guy has 40, 50 fires, and some of them are for weapons offenses, felony offenses, and this guy's still walking around. That's not Saturday. I know when I was a speed officer, that's frustrating. So what's going on?
So working with prosecutors' office and
Definitely.
different prosecutors.
And that's just one part of it. Law enforcement is just one part of that. We do our part, we go out there and enforce the laws. So we really got to do a little work with the prosecutor's office and the judiciary to make sure that they're doing their part too. And prosecute these individuals and make sure that they're being properly incarcerated and or rehabilitated. So that when they do get that out, they won't go back to it. There's no recidivism.
Would it be a law, a new law, or
I mean, laws are great, but I think it's maybe properly using the laws that are already under them. And then not only that, but I think working with the community too. I mean, like I know those Salsinos have blessed their hearts. I mean, they even said, they're willing to do more. But police can only do so much. I think part of it is even like the city council, council member Tupola, she's out there day in and day out, working hard for the community. And then, the ʻohana is there, over there, working hard. So we need those voices to continue to work hard. So police, we're there. We want to be there and we want to support, but we can only do so much. We're there to support, but it's really got to be led also by the community. And it's an investing in youth programs. But I just came right before this from a program out at Campbell High School where they're doing this culinary program, and all the people. But I mean, these kids, they're just so invested in. You see them working hard, and they're doing it throughout the summer. And these are the kids that they aren't involved in these things. I mean, other than that, they're out there like, I'm not saying these things, but they could be doing other things like breaking into cars or getting involved in gangs, but they're not. They're in the classroom learning how to cook. I mean, that's just a small investment into, have people willing, like the Salsinos, willing to give their time.
Pikachu, Robert, and Jimmy, and include ourselves.
The way we help out is it's our officers who are there helping out with the program. Saturday, groceries, they're going to go shop for and stuff. That's how he helps us work. That's a different side of PC. Yeah, we still gotta go arrest the bad guys. So we gotta deal with that. But that's not all the PC. That's not all the police do. We do other things too. Couple things besides crimes that I wanted to highlight. So I'm sure there were a number of fatalities also. These the traffic fatalities. So there are actually 4, and I want to go over each of those. So on July 2nd, at about 2 in the morning, there's a fatal single motor vehicle collision that occurred in the Pedophiles area. 22-year-old male motorcyclist was traveling westbound on Honolulu Street, high rate of speed. And he struck a traffic pole in a concrete wall. He ended up dying. Another one, that was number 40 of the year. Number 41 of the year, on July 4th at about 10:57 a.m. Another fatal motor vehicle collision occurred in the intersection of Kuleana and Mananai, that's pedophiles. 40-year-old male motorist was traveling northbound in Kuleana with his 34-year-old passenger when he disregarded a red traffic signal. He attempted to make a left turn onto Mananai. During his turn, the vehicle was broadsided by a 22-year-old female motorist who was traveling southbound from Kuleana with a 25-year-old passenger. The 25-year-old passenger from the other vehicle was transported to an area hospital for hospitalization, and she later succumbed to her injuries. She was pronounced deceased. That was traffic fatality number 41. Traffic fatality number 42 on July 11th, about 11:15, involving a moped on Columbia and Ole Highway. So that one in the Honolulu area. So that one, 44-year-old male motorist was traveling northbound on Columbia and Ole Highway. He traveled into the southbound lane, struck a 41-year-old female who was riding a moped. 41-year-old moped rider was ejected into the roadway. That one, the 44-year-old motorist was subsequently placed under arrest for operating a vehicle under the influence of intoxication. And then traffic fatality number 43 on Saturday, July 12th at 5:42 in the morning. A fatal motor vehicle collision occurred in Fort Weaver Road, southbound before Renton Road in Evergreen. And now on the traffic division, a third responder, 37-year-old male motorist and his passenger, 18-year-old juvenile male were traveling northbound on Fort Weaver Road at a high rate of speed again, colliding with a 72-year-old male motorist. As a result of the initial collision, 37-year-old male motorist went airborne and rolled over, ejecting the 37-year-old male motorist onto the grassy median. 37-year-old male motorist was pronounced dead at the scene. 72-year-old male motorist again critical injuries and flew to the hospital. Speed appears to be a contributing factor. So, if you look at the statistics, I'll just read this really quickly here. Is traffic fatalities continue to be an issue here on the Oahu for us. So far in 2025, there have been 41 or 43 actually, right? Yeah. Traffic fatalities as opposed to 21 last year and 28 the year before. So we're double, right? What we were last year. Although last year was a little bit of an anomaly. I mean, we were low last year, but still, we're double what we were last year. Pedestrians, although those are all motorists, but pedestrians continue at the highest number of fatalities, followed by motorcycle riders. Overall collision statistics though kind of remain the same. We still average about 69 reported motor vehicle collisions per day as compared to traffic division though has been working with our media team and virtual unit to push out traffic safety messages to our community. In all hopes of altering this negative trend of increased fatalities. Being that this is the summer though, teen drivers will be out on our roadways. This is a good time to remind parents to talk with their teen drivers about being safe and responsible. That includes staying focused, alert, sober, as well as obeying traffic laws. Additionally, reallocation of our resources to night enforcement unit and morning peak kilobyte units as enforcement efforts have helped to yield impressive enforcement stats. All of our enforcement stats are up. I might move over the numbers if you guys want. Also, MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, has recently held their annual law enforcement recognition awards ceremonies to honor law enforcement officers across the state for their dedication to impaired driving enforcement and community safety. This year, the award ceremony took place at the Ocean Hawaiian Village in Honolulu, and several members of the Honolulu Police Department received their prestigious awards. We highlighted their actions and highlighted their achievement and ceremony on our social media. So, we recently had a presentation by our traffic division director, Slater. I think some of you guys know him. He's working with traffic the chief's office in automotive. Went to work with the traffic division. But in response to the increased number of traffic fatalities, it came up with a very comprehensive plan, not just for the traffic division, but for all patrol divisions. So we're reviewing that now. And I hope that that's something that will hope to curb some of these fatalities that we're seeing. Working on higher visibility, continuing to work with the media, working on getting campaigns, educational campaigns, enforcement, taking an hour out of each of our key officers' time to be scheduled to focus on traffic enforcement. But really it's a call to action from the public to one, slow down. I don't know if you guys know this, but before 5 miles over the limit was kind of acceptable, but I don't think you driving in, you drive 5 miles over the speed limit, sometimes it's flying by. It's really, you just gotta slow down. People really gotta slow down.
So, Chief, I think you raised a good point as far as there's a recognition of a problem, right? And the doubling of a statistic like deaths is huge, right? Yes. And then the fact that you're developing a strategy, when that thing is developed, I think that would be good to push out. Yes. And that would be from the HPD side. Yes. And then even whatever opportunities, if there's grant money available in NAD or anybody else, even doing PSAs. I know you folks did some great PSAs in the past on different topics. So, not to give anybody any more work, but sometimes there's high school production, like, why not have a race program? And if they had an interest or they had some grant money working with HPD, they could do some PSAs that would be super helpful.
So can Pikachu pay for this PSA?
Before I get into the time frame, you folks have any questions before I Okay, and here really quickly, it's not too long. So we track crime trends in several categories like robberies, UEMV, sorry, is unauthorized entry into motor vehicles, so basically car break-ins. Robberies, basically what it is. So robbery is if you're using force during the commission of a theft. And burglary would be basically if you're breaking into either a residence or a building. If you're breaking into a residence, that would be a higher degree of burglary. That would be like burglary in the first degree, which is higher class D felony. And then burglary into other than a residence, like a business of your work still across the street from me. So we track those things and we see if there's any trends. So what we found was that as far as robbery goes, so the time period we're looking at is June 30 to July 13. We kind of mirror so that I can report to you guys about when we have our peace proceedings. That's so easy for you to digest for you guys. So during that period, we did see a slight increase. So there were 25 robbery incidents during that reported period compared to 15 in the last period, so a slight increase during that 2-week period. But I also looked at robberies from this year compared to the same time last year, right? Because just because we're up during that period, so what does that mean during the year? So I'm happy to report though that when you look at robberies at this time this year compared to last year, we're actually down. So in 2025 from January to July, this year we're at 283 compared to 292 last year. So even though we're a little bit higher in this reporting period, this 2-week period, in the last 2 weeks, we're down overall for the year. So that's good news, but at least we want to know why we're up here. So some of the things that we're looking at, so 7 of the robberies included firearms, which kind of trend the same with what we were seeing with firearms kind of across all the different firearms. So that's something we want to be looking at. However, out of the robberies that we did see, there were 2 arrests. So that's a good thing, right? You want to see, okay, well, did we catch anybody for doing the robberies? So that's another good thing. During the reporting period, like I said, 7 included firearms. 6 of them were in the District 8 area. So out of the 25, 6 were in the District 8 area. So, and out of those, they were in Sector 3 and Sector 4, so not in Waianae, actually, but in like ʻaaloha and Kapolei area. There were 3 firearm-related robberies actually in one particular area, so we're looking at that too. Another trend we saw that some of the robberies involve mopeds. So that's one of the things that we're looking at. So when we see these trends, that helps us to narrow things down, and we can focus our investigations with that. But good news though is that although we saw an increase in robberies, but again I point out, even though during that reporting period they were up over the year, they was down. For car break-ins, EMVs, and burglaries, both first and second, they were both down, not only during that 2-week period, but also from this year to last year, across the board, across the island, they were down. So for car break-ins, there were 60 reported EMVs during incidents during this reported period compared to 80 during the last period. And then for burglaries, for burglary first there were 30 during this reported period compared to 33 last for burglary first, and 13 burglary second compared to 15 last. And then even for the year, where there were 790, so total first and second, 795 from the beginning of the year to now, compared to 840 last year. So a little bit more significantly down. And then for car break-ins, there were actually significantly down. There were 2,156 last year. We're at 1,367, so 789 less. So almost like 40%.
Sure. So last year, I remember people were talking about things like dynamic policing, that was behind the scenes, people that are does that help? Do you have any idea of how ACD will move
does. So, you know, so I like to say that because of our excellent research, and I cannot say that it's not because of it. You know, our officers are out there doing great work. Our crime reduction unit, our those officers, our officers just out on patrol. All of that contributes to it. But you gotta look at the ebb and flow of crime too. Crime in some places across the nation is down. So just because of the ebb and flow of crime, I mean, that's part of the reason. Of course, we like to say yes, every day I'll be doing, but part of it is because of that. But, you know, we can't say that because of some of the stuff we're doing, it's not contributing to the work. I mean, our officers just being out there visible is helping. The increase also in enforcement, there's studies that show when officers are out there giving citations, that in and of itself leads to increase in crime. And as I just reported earlier, we have indeed shown an increase in enforcement services. So that could be the reason why we see a decrease also in some of our crime scenes. Yeah. Sure, and I can go over actually when I go over the priorities, some of the things that we will be doing recently and actually exactly in line with the social rules of how much person.
What you're able to show us in these crime scenes, is there any correlation between the time, what's the response time and the time that you do to respond? It seems like
You know, we have statistics regarding response time. I don't want to get into too much detail regarding specific areas, just because we don't want to let the bad guys know how long it takes us to get there. I can have for you at a future meeting how long, generally speaking, island-wide, our response times are. I'll have those that information for you, but typically speaking, we break them down type 1 or even emergency calls for service, how long it takes us, type 2 of non-emergency. So we have the statistics that we provide.
I was just going to say something I really appreciated about this meeting is how in this commission meetings we get to hear firsthand from the public and hear folks like the Kanas and Saucedos and other people who testify about firsthand experiences and knowledge and understanding the severity of what's happening on the ground. And then we also get to hear also more of an objective sense of what's happening in the community overall. And I'm not saying one is better than the other. I think what's good is that we get to hear both. And I want to just acknowledge that I think we do hear both and helps us to always understand that any single criminal incident is very, very serious and something that affects whoever is victimized by it significantly. And at the same time, we also have to be able to take a big picture look at what's happening island-wide and the macro level. And that's why we talk about these things that we talk about. So for me, I felt like I've gotten a lot out of this meeting, just hearing from the community as well as hearing from the members in both matter.
to do moving forward is so later on in this agenda, each meeting what I'm going to try to do is highlight one of our divisions. So in this meeting, we'll be highlighting our human resources division, and also instead of me doing the talking, it's right here, not from me. I'd like to highlight either the commander or an employee in that division. So those two things. It keeps me from having to present. And also it allows you to hear from them, but it's also professional development at the same time. And it gets them used to speaking to them. Yeah, perfect, yeah. So you'll be hearing from Major Pamela Bondi and also Lieutenant Shelby. Thank you. Now, before I get into the strategic priority plan, I just wanted to, just because we're doing a lot in our communications, I just wanted to highlight some of the things that they've done and then also. So, some of the things that we've been doing with our website is the media team is going to be updating the website to include a candidate or a news link. That will include photos, names, titles, and email of the media team, as well as recent news media and clear presence of contact email for media teams. I think that would be like a real bold statement. Like, this is our media team, here for people, blah, blah, blah. It would be like a clear, in your face, don't have to search for it, here we are. Yeah. And then also in regards to news releases, I think, like you pointed out, Chair, we're really trying to make a conscious effort to be more out there. So one of the team's goals is to increase the number of proactive news releases, help foster the communication between the department and the media. Also, this helps highlight the positive impact. I know Commissioner Okinawa, when she was here, always stressed the importance of doing that, as well as all of you guys. So this can help highlight the positive impact this we have in the community. So as an example, from January 1st to June 30th, we had 9 news releases. But from July 1st to July 16th, we've already had 6. So this goes to show you we're really making a conscious effort. And not just to throw them out there. I really want them to be proactive and And then, so just to highlight, I'm not going to get into details, but key communications was by date, so we were done by that news release. That was done on July 10th. We did a game room shutdown news release, that was done on July 11th. We did a HPD recruitment initiative news release, that was done on July 16th or 17th, I forget. We did an interview with, we now have Major all of the motor, our dedicated spokesperson. On Hawaii Public Radio, we did an illegal fireworks, and also the new law with DLE. Mike Lambert was on there with him. We did a tag team thing. We did a viral social media. We highlighted the media video of the near-miss video with the officers on Warrenwood Freeway where they almost got hit. That actually made national coverage by ABC 7 Chicago. That demonstrated HPD's transparency and public safety surrounding national news. And then on the 10th, there was a video of a juvenile male beating that county the dog. So we worked with Hawaii Humane Society. They relayed to us that they were in talks with the boy's father, and immediately following that, the father reported his son, and he ended up being arrested. I don't know if that really well. And then even on Instagram, between the 1st and the 13th, we had 1.6 million views. We got an additional 191 followers, we made 45 posts, we got over 10,000 likes and 4,000 shares. So we're doing a lot of good stuff. Yeah. Some of the messaging that we have going out are, so some of the core pillars are accountability. Messaging associated with that is we're here to own our past and shape our future. Transparency, that pillar is you'll hear from us clearly, consistently, and first. Partnerships is policing only works with community by our side. Humanity, we we serve and protect the public. And the messaging examples or themes that we repeat throughout is, we hear you, that goes to community trust. We're acting on it for transparency. We're here to serve for legacy and stability. And HPD is stronger because of you. That's for internal. That's where we're at. Any questions? And then later on, I told our communications director, Chief Logan, and talked about it. She'll come up with her formal communication strategic plan, and we'll do a different strategic plan. What do you want to do?
I just want to say that I've noticed that the responses have been much more robust, really, especially the thinking. A lot more information coming out right out of the gate without asking questions.
Any questions before you? Alright, we go over the strategic priority plan. No, I'm just gonna go over, I'm not gonna get into the weeds here. I'm just gonna go over it because you have it in front of you. There are a couple of points where I'm going to give examples just so you understand what I'm talking about. But if you have questions, just feel free to ask. So, taking the role of interim chief, it is a significant leadership responsibility. I want to make sure that I maintain stability while continuing to perpetuate the current strategic plan. So these are the priorities that's structured around leadership stability, community trust, and internal accountability. And there's 5 basically focus points that I'll be going over. The first is to stabilize and unite the department. So the first strategy under that is to assess morale and leadership gaps. And this will be accomplished by conducting listening sessions with officers and staff to understand internal challenges and morale. So I think going to the watches, meeting with different details, actually having one-on-ones with various leaders, commanders, continuing all our meetings. And the officers have been very responsive to that.
I'm going to just jump in.
Sure. Yeah.
And I think that's probably one of the, from the get-go, that's one of the most important things. Because the department as a whole, even though it seems like it's a long time period, it really isn't the history of the department. There's been leadership changes, right? And there's been interim previously, then we had 3-year, which is actually just a snapshot of time, 3 years, and then now we have interim again. And I think any agency, including HPD, they just need that touch, that personal touch by the person that's going to be leading for that period, so that they know that, hey, you know what, this is what we have been working on, this is what we're thinking about. But I think the most important thing is going to be what's going on that we've been missing, maybe, that we can help you with. And just the fact, thank you. Just the fact that you're taking the time to be out there. Because I mean, everybody's busy. The VCs are busy, you're busy, but you know, that's super important. So I think it's going to serve the department well.
I just want to point out though that it's not going to be only me.
Sure.
But my schedule is busy too. Yeah.
Sure.
But I'm going to impress upon not only my deputy chiefs but assistant chiefs, and even down to the majors and captains. I mean, they got to get up their feet. It's a team out there. So, yeah, it's everyone, not just me. No, yeah. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. I'll just tell you a real quick story. I went to DA. About that guy that I met with. There's this guy in DA, the officer, his name is Evan Fix. I saw that he had a Caesar tent. It's a new Caesar that we're trying to use. And I told you that? Yeah, that was awesome.
You need to listen to your stories.
Yeah, just being able to make that connection and his feedback, I mean, that's what I'm talking about. Had I not gone, And that's why it's important to get that feedback. The second bullet point really is just to ensure continuity of operations. We kind of just discard everything that we do. We need to continue. We have a well-developed strategic plan. We need to continue those efforts. Because just because there's a change in leadership doesn't mean that there's a change in strategy. So, as a matter of fact, the team that we have here, we put a lot of effort into developing those strategies. So we don't want to damage those things. So this is just making sure that we reinforce that chain of command and making sure that momentum that we have for our ongoing initiatives continue. That's what that is.
So this is sort of overlay.
That's correct. That's correct.
And at some point that could be defined based on what's done.
Exactly.
Not done.
That's correct.
Provide regular updates to the officers, environment, and transparency. That's that whole one of the things besides external communication that is a high priority for me is communication. That's something that we're working on, and then Claudette has an opportunity to provide that information to the external. The second focus point is strengthening community trust and engagement. So the first strategy there is proactively engage the community, particularly with Native Hawaiian, immigrants, and other historically underserved communities. Visible, present, and responsive. So I know if you guys were here, some of you were here the first time I was here, I did interim is, I don't know if you remember when we had those kind of high profile shootings. There was kind of an uproar by one group in particular, the Mexican community, and I really felt strongly about connecting with that community to kind of quell that uproar. So I especially, even Pikachu was my deputy chief at that time, chief command. We went to a number of different meetings with the Mexican community. We met with the youth, their religious, the elders. We went to the competition. We met with we are Oceania. That's just one example of the community value. You got to invest your time, and if you can't spend your people aside, you decide when they're offering you your shit, because then they see that you care. By making those connections, you foster the relationship and you develop access to that society. And so I'll continue to do those things. Also, engaging with the community, continue to do coffee with the top, with the major. I want you to start this thing out of the key. Kind of along the lines of the premier, the panel, maybe not a day, even the more person to see out of the key. Kind of along the lines of coffee with the top. Reinforce the secret of justice, emphasize fairness, review opportunities and citizens to voice concerns. So that's the other thing to do across the website. Transparent communications around controversial issues will continue to receive support and respondents to rise, respond with transparency, fairness to avoid further erosion of public trust. So continue with I make sure we have very timely if there's officer involved shootings, we get on camera, we address those things right away. So like how we had over the weekend, we had all of those different shootings back to back to back. We need to get out there and do this. Officer involved shootings, it's so important within, as soon as we can, within 24 hours, make sure the peacekeepers on camera saying exactly what happened. That's important. That's important.
And if I may, I just think it's really ideal for that role because you have such a long history of support and you have a really good governance of all of your departments in the department. I've never seen you get out of answers. You need to just understand it.
Well, I got good feedback. So if I don't know the answer, I guarantee that
you have a good overall plan. Which is great. And also I see that, the allegiance to what we talked about,
And then the final one is there's going to be trust and engagement is, and this one is important, is incorporate body worn cameras as part of the community. I definitely enjoyed what you guys have been talking about, made this a priority. After that, to be modeled after the FBI's body camera policy for task force officers. So this one is something that will be incorporating probably in the very near future. Actually, today, after this meeting, I'll be heading out to District 8, ʻāina, to meet with their crime investigators. They were the unit that was involved in the most recent officer involved shooting. That was one where the operated the truck go on reverse and actually hit our officers' vehicles so hard that it burst into flames. So I'm going to go talk further with them. Obviously, things those officers are concerned for weapons that were body on camera. But they do understand, because they're into that, they don't want to be named. But they do understand too that the FBI they do realize that there's certain criteria that comes with it. It's not being used when they're trying to work undercover. But it is being used when there's a declared, this is a search warrant to open the door. That's different. That's a declared peace operation, then they got to use it. And they're okay with that. But it's good to hear from the horse's mouth. We're going to back you up. We're not expecting you to use it under these circumstances. But under these circumstances, you shall use it. That's the whole, that goes back to number one. What I mean, meet with your officers and develop that rapport and build morale. So a lot of these are intervals of those each other. But yeah, that's what it is. Number three, the focus area is tackle crime and cases. So focus on violent drugs, this is what I was talking about earlier. Focus on violent drug and gun-related crimes. Honolulu has been challenges related to property crime and connection to Massachusetts, resulting in violence. So this is the one that I was talking about earlier when I was talking about guns. So we need to do a better job at tracking and stopping them from getting into the hands of people who shouldn't have guns. We need to work with the prosecutor's office. We need to work with the judiciary to make sure that there's serious and real consequences. Prioritize interagency coordination and data-driven deployment. So we talked about some of that between the two states. We have a great working relationship with DOE. Director Lambert used to be a major. I've worked with Mike pretty extensively as a matter of fact. He was one of my subordinates in a couple of different times. So we work pretty well together, and I foresee being able to work with him, continue to work with him. Actually, we're working with him right now, as a matter of fact, on 2 different projects. And we have ideas to work with him on at least 3 more. So yeah, we'll be working with him. As far as data driven, so this is, I'm glad that Stephen came and talked about culture service. So we've already started doing that. So one of the things that our management analysts to do is run exactly that, culture service. What we found was that District 8 as one of the high culture service. So what I've asked our support services bureau or ICD to do is start working with our District 8 majors to add 2 more details. And we'll be sending probably 12 more officers to support the 12 to the 2 more weeks. So they said 7 more officers. We're already doing it. That's right. And the 12 officers is to support the PD. So the recommendation is that there's a plan to my duty. that there's data that supports it. And there's also been an outcry from the community as well as the business like that. So there's a great opportunity to let the community know, let the folks that have been asking for it, that you hear what they're doing. But all the calls for service are justified by what you're doing. And nothing against the placebos or anybody. It's easy to say crime is afoot, crime is out of control, crime is not false decisions that we call. But once you run the numbers and we see that yes, it is. Now we can justify it. So we did. We ran the numbers. They're absolutely right. Absolutely, we see in some areas out there that actually crime is down. However, all for service, there is that. So based on that, we kind of say, you know what, officers are working very hard at it. We see development going on in the area. We see all of these buildings going on. There's other areas too where there's development going on. And yet we have the same number of officers. So there are other areas where we're looking at the increase of officers. So that's not the only area, but that's the area where we see probably the fastest and development and the highest growth in false statistics. That's why that area is where we're looking at first. But that doesn't mean that we aren't looking at other areas. But you know, at the same time, you have to highlight up on it. Yeah, that's correct. So you're already trapped. You're already. So I mean, you didn't, because you're robbing Peter to pay Paul. That's it, right? Because it's not like I have these extra guys sitting down in the office. Okay, let's just come out there. You got to strategically place existing resources. That's a tough thing. Yeah. We need to try to understand that.
And then there has to be looking at the effects of moving 12 more officers out there. Is there an impact on the court?
So one thing I can appreciate what Tito says is that, you know, when we started working with outside agencies, when we started working with libraries, and we started focusing on the VA area, and started enforcing the crime examples, that was great. But it required us to work with other agencies, use outside resources that we didn't have control over. And while that was great, it's not sustainable in this part of my opinion. That's correct. That's correct, and we can't force them to. We would love if they could always keep the people there. That's great. But what we do have control over is our resources and who we can send and the amount of people we can send. So while we can continue to work with them when they can send people out there, what we like to do is see what resources we have. Utilize our resources in the best way possible, prioritizing where they can and who should go, and send the resources to where we need to and increase our amount in that way. While still, when we can, working with CLE, military agencies, when they're available. I'm still coordinating those resources in the event that happens.
Exactly correct. So call for service could be anything, so we'll call 911 regarding parking.
Still requires manpower.
Staffing to assist that individual or check on them. Because the dog could be barking because someone's trying to break into the neighbor's car, or the dog could be barking because the owner didn't feed them.
Appreciate you guys. Yeah. For your hard work. 10, 20 years, we'll see you guys there. Maybe my kids will come confess. Here we are again, we're rolling out for you guys tuning in. Thank you guys, have a good one. Definitely ask for a pay raise, you deserve it. Bye, aloha. Okay guys, we're wrapping out. We always come here a little bit before 2 and leave it like about 4. Yep. Ralph called me while we were filming. Yeah, I'll call him back as soon as we finish up this live. Any final words, gentlemen, you'd like to say to our camera as we're wrapping up this long meeting?
People need to know the difference between a non-emergency and emergency phone call on 911. Non-emergency means no weapon is involved, that you can see. Now, if you suspect you have a weapon, you say emergency, and they're supposed to respond quickly. But it hasn't worked out.
Ha! Carl, your thoughts?
Got a lot of work to do still. But we're getting there. Slowly but surely, I think the amount of things that we've had and accomplished in 5 years, it's pretty tremendous.
It's time for a cigarette.
Break.
Let's go, Fred.
Well, Robert, you did a great job talking on stage.
I
He didn't sit, he stood the whole way.
There you go.
I was like, wow, where did this guy come out? And then all of a sudden, they're like, what? And they started asking you questions. They're asking for you. I'm like, motherfuckers, I went first and they asked me, shit, you son of a...
I already had a plan. I've been like doing this for a week now. What am I gonna say? And I'm gonna stand. I'm not gonna sit.
Yeah.
Because if you stand, you think better. Then you get your point better.
Ready to run, too.
Yeah, because I had to run a couple times. Look, Sunday night.
So we'll be wrapping up here. Thank you all for watching. That's our Honolulu Police Commission. Roddy Vanek's pretty calm. You can see him collected. Puts a lot of time and thought into this stuff. I didn't quite get the answers I thought we were going to get from the police, like Joe and Calais, and they can't answer any questions because it's not on the agenda. So you guys could hear in the grapevine what really went down. They're going to be trying to helping out ʻāina a little more because we complained.
Yep. And then my district.
Kalihi. Hey, how's it going? So we're going to be wrapping up here. We'll see you guys in cyberspace, and we'll be back with you. Chew. And shout out to Office of Elections, the people that confessed today, all day, all morning. Shout out to all of you. We love you all.